I love this topic, not because I do it perfectly, but because it is something I am pursuing. And we're going to talk about excellence that doesn't burn you out, but it builds you up. Does that sound like a good thing? Yeah? Have you ever seen one of these? It's the easy button.
That was easy.
I love this message.
That was easy.
Do you not love this, right? Wouldn't it be cool if in life all we had to do is,
That was easy.
and everything would be excellent? But excellence is hard, right? But just imagine, go with me here. Maybe this is what heaven will be like. I don't know. The dishes just clean themselves perfectly,
That was easy.
right? The work project gets delivered early and over-delivered.
That was easy.
Would that be cool, right? How about this? This is on my bucket list. A garage that is entirely organized, and you can even fit the car in there.
That was easy.
Right? Right? We love excellence. We love excellence. How many of you love excellence? You like to go to a restaurant where you get excellent service and excellent food, correct? Right? We love excellence, but we don't love the hard part. Actually doing it, right? So guess what? There is no easy button to excellence. So I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to stand here and tell you it is easy. So today we're going to embrace this idea that in order to be excellent, we have to exchange easy for excellence. Can you go there with me? Can you go there with me? We're going to exchange easy for excellence because there is no such thing as an easy button. I checked. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. But the payoffs to being excellent are tremendous. And that's what I want you to know today. When you pursue excellence, though it's hard, the payoffs are so worth it. And we're going to talk about some of the payoffs, all right? We're going to talk about some of the benefits to being excellent. So when we think of excellence and we think about the characters in the Bible, what characters come to mind when you think of excellence? Yell them out. Jesus. Yeah, that's the first one I thought of. Anybody else? Daniel. Yes. So we're going to study Daniel's life today. Would that be cool? Because he certainly embodied the spirit of excellence. In fact, Daniel 6:3 says, you'll see it behind me, now Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators and satraps by his, say it with me, exceptional qualities that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. And another version says, because an excellent spirit was within him. So Daniel stood out because he went beyond the norm. Daniel stood out because he didn't have an easy button. And I want to highlight 3 areas of his life where he actually stood out the most. The Bible tells us in Daniel 1:8 that he watched what he ate. I know, we don't want to go there, right? He watched what he ate. Daniel resolved, you'll see behind me, Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine. This is where we get the idea of the Daniel fast. How many of you have ever done a Daniel fast? Yes? And isn't it stinking hard? It's not easy to do a Daniel fast because you got to give up all the rich food and wine and, all the things you love, right? But Daniel recognized that there was a benefit to abstaining from some of that. Part of it was his worship, but part of it, if we want to get real and honest, was because you perform better when you eat better. Let's go to number 2. He trained his mind. I love this one. He trained his mind. Daniel 1:17. God gave these 4 young men, now this is Daniel and his buddies, an unusual aptitude for understanding every aspect of literature and wisdom. What does that mean? It means they had a hunger for knowledge. They wanted to grow their intellect. They were hungry for growth. How many of you are growth-minded in here? That's good because you know what? You cannot pursue excellence unless you have a hunger for knowledge. Unless you have a hunger. You might say, well, I'm not into that self-improvement stuff. Well, guess what? Then you're not into a spirit of excellence. Because if we're going to have a spirit of excellence and get better at everything we do, we want to grow in our knowledge and understanding of things. It made him better workers. And that's one of the reasons he was promoted. Number 3, he stayed faithful. He stayed faithful. Daniel 6:10 behind me says he continued to pray just as he had always done. You see, Daniel lived in a moment in time and in a kingdom where praying to God, Yahweh, was illegal, just as it is in certain parts of the world today. But he did it anyway, because he wanted to be excellent as he pursued his God. And in the end, it even ended up tossing him into the, what? Lion's den. But even that wasn't the end. God protected him. So, there are benefits to pursuing excellence. And we can see Daniel didn't have this.
That was easy.
No, it was tough. It's hard being excellent. He chose to exchange easy for excellence, and he created incredible momentum and success. How many of you want momentum? How many of you want momentum? Yes. How many of you want success? Yes. That's one of the benefits of pursuing excellence. Daniel did things differently than the rest of the crowd. He lived beyond mediocrity. He pushed the limits of status quo. He stepped over the Daniel line. He drew a line in the sand and said, I'm going to go above and beyond, and I'm going to do everything with excellence. And you know, for us today, as this is one of our core values here at Rethink Life, pursuing excellence, it could begin with just this very simple question. When somebody says, how are you? You could say good. You could say great, or you could say excellent. Thank you. Yes, you could say excellent. Why? Because you are declaring how you to show up. And typically when we answer that question, we describe how we feel. But the question isn't how are you feeling? The question is how are you? In other words, how are you doing? How are you going to show up? And if we begin answering with the idea that we are excellent, guess what's going to happen? That Spirit's going to rise up within us, and it's going to dictate everything we do and everything we say and how we respond and how we react. Now, we can go with the idea of explaining how we feel. How are you? I'm a little tired. How are you? Oh, I'm a little stressed. But you know what that does? When you give your pain a voice, you give it power. Jesse Itzler shared that, and I saw a video that Pam posted this week about that, and it's so true because our words have power. So if we take that question and we think about, we're not going to answer how we feel. If we answer, how are you, with, I am excellent, now, we are empowering our excellence because our words have power. So how many of you would go there with me? Steve, how you doing?
I'm excellent.
You're excellent. Trick question, right? Right? Luke, how you doing? Excellent. Excellent. Gustavo, how you doing? Excellent. Excellent. Josh, how you doing?
Excellent.
Tyler, how you doing? Yes? How you doing? Come on. Come on. Russell, how you doing? Julie, how you doing? Come on. Missy, how you doing? Okay, you get the idea. How about we change the culture right here and right now? Every time you greet each other from here on out, can you go here with me? Because this will actually change the culture. Every time we walk in the door and we greet each other, Mel, I'm going to come up to you and say, how you doing? You are excellent. Pam, how you doing? Excellent, right? Because it gets up in your spirit. It is a spirit. And a spirit will mess with you. A spirit will make you do things differently. That's why it's called a spirit of excellence. But you have to decide you want it. Daniel decided, he purposed in his heart that that's how he was going to show up. Now I'm going to test you all as we leave here. I'm going to ask you how you're doing. And you're going to say, woo, that's Rethink Life right there. Yes? So, what are some of the key benefits to being excellent, to living with a spirit of excellence? It adds value to other people. I love that. I love adding value to people. There was a janitor who worked in a hospital, and he took his job so seriously and with such excellence that he wasn't just cleaning floors, he was protecting patients. He saw germs as threats and his mop as a weapon. That is excellence. And that mindset saved lives. That's adding value to people, isn't it? So think about your work, what you're going to do tomorrow, whether it's around the house or in the workplace. How can you show up with just a little bit more excellence, and how is that going to add value to other people? Whether it be your staff, the people you work with, your clients, your customers. How will that add value? Simply because you just went up a notch, right? Exchanging easy for excellence adds value to others. Exchanging easy for excellence also makes us happy. How many of you want to be happy? Do you know that's the number one thing that people pursue? It's happiness. Happiness. I mean, people get prescriptions so they can be happy. People get gummies. Right? Come on. Yeah? People do all kinds of things in order to be happy. If I told you, look, if you want to be happy, just pursue excellence, would you think I'm nuts? No. Because pursuing excellence and doing an excellent job will fill you with joy and satisfaction. Just a very simple example. When I was a kid, my mom assigned the kitchen duty to me. I had to clean the kitchen. So after dinner, did the dishes, put all the food away, put them in Tupperware, all that. Emptied the dishwasher if needed, filled the dishwasher, cleaned the sink, and she would say, now tell me when you're done. And I'd say, Mom, I'm done. She'd come in the kitchen. She'd assess. She'd say, you're not done. You got crumbs on the counter right there. I'd say, I'd go back and I'd clean off the counter. I'd say, Mom, I'm done. She'd come in. She goes, you're not done. You left the pan in the sink. I'm like, man. So I put the pan away. Say, Mom, I'm done. Come back in. You're not done. You didn't run the garbage disposal. I'm like, shoot. It frustrated me. How many of you can relate? Yeah? I'm like, I got places to go, things to do, friends to talk to on the phone. It frustrated the snot out of me. But eventually I caught on to the fact that she was teaching me how to pursue a spirit of excellence. And eventually I started taking pride in cleaning that kitchen, even though I didn't really like it. But I remember this one day in particular, I surveyed the landscape and I thought, my mom's not going to find anything wrong with this kitchen. And I went to the light switch to turn it off for the night. And I remember turning that light switch off with such a great sense of happiness because I knew I did a job well. I did it with a spirit of excellence. Don't you feel good when you do something right? Don't you feel good when you just know you've gone even above and beyond, right? It feels good. I'm telling you, this will increase your happiness level. And even for that reason, pursue it. Pursue that spirit of excellence. Does that sound good? It'll bring you more joy and happiness. Another thing it'll do, it'll get you out of the people pile. Think, oh, what's a people pile? A people pile is a pile you want to stay out of. A people pile are the people that just coast. They're normal. They're just doing the day-to-day. You know people like that? Guys, we want to get out of the people pile. We want to get promoted. Look at what Daniel did. Daniel 6:3 in the Message says, but Daniel so completely outclassed the other regents and governors that the king decided to put him in charge of what? The whole kingdom. The whole kingdom. There's a guy named David Abry. And you've probably never heard that name before. But you will recognize the company he runs, UPS. He is the CEO of UPS. But you want to know where he started at? He started as a part-time package handler. And David worked in the warehouse where it was hot, it was loud, long hours, late nights, heavy boxes, not glamorous at all. But he didn't think of it as a dead-end gig. I mean, he packaged those boxes as if someone were going to open them for Christmas presents, right? He did it with excellence. And he wasn't just looking at, okay, well, what's in my job description? No, he went above and beyond. He looked to see what he could do to help his other colleagues. He looked around to see how he could make that place better. And guess what? That got him eventually to the C-suite. Not because he knew how to network, not because he knew how to schmooze. He got there because he had a spirit of excellence. Pursuing excellence will get us out of the people pile. It'll get us promoted. How many of you want more than what you have now? You want a promotion? How many of you really want a promotion in your life? Yes. Yes, right? We always want to continuously get better and better. So, there are a lot of payoffs for excellence, and I can't cover them all, but when your coworkers slack off, I want to encourage you to not
That was easy.
hit the easy button. If they're slacking, let them slack. You do a good job. If they're cutting corners,
That was easy.
let them hit the easy button. You do the hard work of doing things right. If they're complaining,
That was easy.
no, you dig in, shut your mouth, right? That's excellence. That's excellence. It'll get you out of the people pile. And you know what else? Excellence will rub off on other people. It's contagious. Can you say contagious? It is contagious. That spirit of excellence, exchanging easy for excellence, stepping over the dandelion. It is contagious. There was a nurse that worked at a hospital in a cancer area, oncology area. And after her very long shifts, as you know, a lot of nurses work very long shifts, it's 10, 12 hours. After her shift, doing the normal stuff that she got paid for, she would go and sit at the bedside of one of her patients who was just really having a hard time. This guy didn't have any family. He didn't have any visitors. And so she would just go check in on him, support him. She didn't go to check his meds, because this is after she was done with her shift. She didn't go to check his IV. She went to check in on him. And you know what happened? He revealed that she saved his life because he was going to commit suicide. That's how the spirit of excellence can impact others around you. Now, here's where it gets cool. Even beyond that, her colleagues, the other nurses, they began to do the same thing. They began after their shifts to spend a little extra time just checking in on their patients, just asking them how they're doing, just supporting them. Because excellence is contagious. It'll rub off on people. Now, the opposite is also true. If a person is not operating with excellence, it will also rub off. Did you know that studies show if you have an underperformer working side by side another worker, that worker will also underperform? Why? Because it's contagious. They influence one another. As I coach and train executives and CEOs and business owners, this is one thing we talk about. When you're hiring people, you want to get the best of the best, because if you bring in somebody on your team who does not have a spirit of excellence, they're going to drag the rest of the crew down, and they will underperform. Can I drop a truth on you right now? I need permission for this one. You sure? If your spouse sucks, you probably suck. True? True. I'm telling you, there have been times I've had to go to my husband and Ted and say, look, not that you suck, but I've had to say, hey, you know what? We, as a team here, need to do better in this area. We need to focus more on this as a couple, as a family. We need to amp it up here. Why? Because we rub off on each other. We're in close proximity to one another. And if you are dating somebody that's an underperformer, if you are dating someone that's lackadaisical, I'm not forecasting your future, but guess what? 9 times out of 10, that's how you're going to become. Because it's contagious. It's contagious. Studies show that. So, leaders, business owners, you want a better team? Lead them better. You want better talent? Become better. You still love me? Come on. All right. It all begins with a decision. A decision. Daniel purposed in his heart. That means he decided. He stepped over the Daniel line. You know, another thing that we're going to have to do, if we'll be honest, is we have to defend that spirit of excellence in our lives. Because sometimes we're going to slack. How many of you slack? Come on. How many slackers do we have? I slacked this week, right? Come on. It's not easy, so we have to defend that spirit of excellence. When Ted and I first got married, my mother-in-law came to visit us, and she was going to stay with us for 3 days. So I cleaned the house like a mad woman. I mean, I cleaned every nook and cranny. I cleaned corners. I cleaned baseboards. I cleaned behind the refrigerator, the counters. Everything was spotless. Want to know what she noticed? Nothing. She was blind. I didn't do it for her. I did it for me. Because when you operate in a spirit of excellence and you do the very best that you can, you know what it does? It builds your character. It does something inside of you that grows you. And you become a better version of yourself. And so even though I knew she wasn't going to see if I cleaned the bathroom. She wasn't going to see if I scrubbed the toothpaste out of the sink. But when you do something, regardless of whether somebody sees it, it does something for you. So I want to encourage you, defend that spirit of excellence. It's not just for others, it's for you. It will grow you as a person, and you'll be better for it. In fact, Colossians 3:23 says, work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. So when you exchange easy for excellence, it's even an act of worship. It's an act of worship. All right. So I know you're saying, well, crap, how can I be excellent at all these things? Right? Are you feeling pressure? Are you feeling a bit stressed? Okay, let me help you. Let me help you, because this is not meant to be stressful. Okay? Let's talk about your stove. I know, you don't want to go there, right? We're not going to talk about how clean your stove is. But we are going to talk about 4 burners. Because you know what it's like to cook on 4 burners at one time? Missy, you know what it's like? Like you got one going, you're sauteing onions, and you got something else going, maybe sauce is cooking, and then you got meat cooking over here. And it's so easy to burn something when there's 4 things going at once, right? How many of you been there, right? Okay. So when we begin to add more to that, 5 and 6, you got a crock pot going, you got an air fryer going. Whoa, that's overload. You're going to burn something, yeah? So what we want to do is whittle it down to 4 burners. And this is actually scientific. Studies show that we can really only handle 4 main priorities at a time. So let's talk about the 4 areas that God considers most priority. Will you go there with me? Yes. Okay, number 1 is our relationship with God. Love the Lord your God. Say it with me, with all of your heart, all of your mind, all of your soul. Some versions say all of your strength, everything that's within you. Relationship with God. That's number 1. That's burner number 1. Burner number 2, work and responsibilities. Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all of your heart as you're working for the Lord. Work and responsibilities. Now, some of you are sitting there saying, but I've got too many responsibilities to be excellent in all of them, right? If you've got too many responsibilities, then you've got too many responsibilities. So you got to do less. Because a spirit of excellence, that's not about doing more. It's not even about perfection. It's not about productivity. It's not about any of that. It's about focusing on the things that God focuses on most. And if we can be excellent in those 4 areas, we can pull it off with his help. We can. We can. Here's what I tell my clients. Do less, but obsess. Do less, but obsess over those things so that you can pinpoint the priorities. And I tell my clients, do less, but obsess. Do less, but obsess over those things so that you can pinpoint the priorities, and those are the things you want to be excellent in. The 4th area is this. Or excuse me, are we on 3? Yes, thank you. Thoughts and attitudes. Do we have the stove up there? Thoughts and attitudes. Philippians 2:14 says, or complaining, or arguing. But that's a spirit of excellence. That's really tough, right? Looks like with our thoughts and attitudes. 4th burner is relationships. 1 Peter 4:8 says, love each other deeply. And we could even consider 1 Corinthians 13 where it talks about love each other unconditionally. That is the 4th burner. So we've got 1, relationship with God. 2, work and responsibilities. 3, thoughts and attitudes. 4, relationships. If we will focus on those areas and pursue a spirit of excellence in those areas, there will be so many payoffs. But it's also an act of worship. It's a beautiful thing. And let me encourage you with this. Listen, excellence, again, it's not perfection. It's not unachievable. Excellence is progression. It is not an arrival. So wipe the stress off. Okay, it's progression. It's simply saying, okay, I'm going to take a look at what I did today, and I'm going to assess it, and I'm just going to figure out where I can move the needle tomorrow. Where can I improve just a little bit? Even if it's just 1%, where can I move the needle? Why? Because pursuing excellence, again, it's not about being perfect. It's about doing the very best that we can. It's about going above and beyond and just every day trying to tweak it and do it a little bit better. And then honor God. And when we show up as a church, when we are out and about on the street, and people see us with a spirit of excellence, they're going to say, what is that? Why are they acting so excellent? I want to know what's going on in their lives, that they have such a high standard, and it draws people to him. It's a beautiful thing. You agree? Yes? So then now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. I'd encourage you right now just to think for a minute. What is maybe just one area where you want to amp it up? Maybe just one area where you think, I could probably do that a little bit better. I could probably pursue a spirit of excellence right there. What is one area? Just one. Can you take a minute? Can you just maybe even bow your heads? It'll help you. Close your eyes so you can concentrate. Just maybe ask God, where in my life do I need to amp it up a little bit and just be a little bit more excellent? Let him show you. Now I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. Would you stand with me? Would you stand with me? If you want to commit to an even greater level of excellence, and you want to do it like Daniel, and you want to exchange easy for excellence, and you want to step over the Daniel line, I want to encourage you to step over this line right here. Meet me here. Come on. Get out of your chair. Get out of your seat. If you want a spirit of excellence, if you just want to bump it up, you may be excellent in a lot of areas, but maybe you recognize today, I just gotta bump it up 1%. I just gotta just maybe this one area. Come on up here. Meet me up here. We're gonna pray together. It's not perfection, it's that we are progressing in the areas that God deems most important. Look at this is beautiful. As a church family, we are embracing excellence. As you go back to college, are you done or are you going back? You go back to Liberty. You want to walk on that campus with the spirit of excellence and they're going, Caroline, what is in you? It's the spirit of excellence, right? It's the spirit of excellence. You ready to cross that line? Would you lift your hands with me? As an act of surrender, Father, we just surrender our lives to you in a new way. And we ask you to help us pursue that spirit of excellence in even a more excellent way. Today, no matter where we are stepping over the Daniel line. And we want to do it better as an act of worship so that we can add value to others, so that we can be happy, so that we can get out of the people pile and get promoted. God, so that we can be the light in the world that we need to be. Because as we pursue excellence, it's going to set us apart, and people are going to wonder about you. So, Father, help us. Help us this week to bump it up. Help us tomorrow when we go to work. Help us tomorrow as we're with our kids, as we're out and about in the community, as we're just driving down I-4, that we would just drive with excellence in every area that is important to you, Father, and then even beyond that. And thank you for empowering us to do that. Now, if you are here in this room and you might be saying, you know what, I've never asked Jesus to be my Lord and Savior, and I think I need that today. Would you just repeat this after me? You can say it out loud or you can say it in your heart. Just say, Father, forgive me of my sins. Forgive me. And thank you for sending your son to die on the cross for me. Thank you, Jesus, for making a way. And be my Lord and Savior. In Jesus' name. Do you feel that spirit of excellence rising up? Come on, rethink. How are you? How are you? No. How are you? Excellent. Yeah.